they would all go hungry. He wished that Maureen Jackson was still at the shop. She'd always given him a few bargains or paid him to do small jobs, but her father was a skinflint and refused to give anything away. His wife, Violet, just looked down her nose and told enterprising lads to go away. But some of the other residents of Mulberry Lane were kinder. Alice Carter would give him twopence for bringing in her coal and chopping a pile of wood. But Tommy knew it wasn't enough. At nearly 14, he felt capable of doing a man's work and wished he could convince his mother to let him leave school after his birthday in April. But she wanted him to stay on and take his higher exams. "You're a bright lad, Tommy," Tilly Barton had told her son just that morning. "Brighter than your brother, your father and me, so stay on for as long as you can and make something more of yourself. God knows, you don't want to live like this for the rest of your life." Tommy hadn't answered her, but he knew what he wanted. He was tall for his age, an energetic, rangy lad with big hands and feet, who looked older than he was, but he'd already been down the army enrolment office and tried to persuade them he was 18. The sergeant had laughed and told him to come back in 3 years or so. "I'll have you if I could, lad," he told Tommy, "but they'd have me guts for garters." He'd reached into his pocket and given Tommy a shilling. "In the old days, if you took me shilling, you'd be in the army, lad. But there's rules these days. See, you got to be 18. Buy yourself a hot pie and mash and look after your ma." Tommy's encounter with the friendly sergeant had made him keener than ever to join up. But he couldn't even leave school until the start of the summer term, even if his ma would let him then. So the best he could do was to find all the odd jobs he could in the lanes. And he always liked working for Peggy Ashley at the Pig and Whistle, because he usually got something good to eat as well as a few pennies in his pocket. Whistling cheerfully, he walked across the road. The sign was creaking in the wind, its comic pig dancing to the tune of a penny whistle, bringing a smile to his face. Tommy went under the arch to the pub yard and knocked at the back door, which was painted dark green and split in two like a stable door. Peggy often had the top open to let in some fresh air as she worked, but today it was shut tight. She opened it and smiled at him, nodding as he told her he was about to start on the job she wanted done. "You've made a good job of that gutter," Peggy Ashley said when Tommy had finished a couple of hours later. "Here's your shilling, and I made a fatless sponge with strawberry jam for you to take home. I wish you were a bit older, Tommy. I'd give you a job in the bar serving drinks." "Bet I could do it as good as anyone," Tommy grinned as he pocketed the shilling. "I reckon Ma could know if she wanted." "If your mum wants a little job washing up at lunchtimes, tell her to come and see me. I'll give her 2 bob a session," Peggy said, and smiled as Tommy went off whistling. He was such a willing young man, and whatever he did well. And that guttering had wanted cleaning for ages. Lawrence had talked of having it done for months before he went off to do whatever he was doing for the military. Peggy frowned as she thought of the husband she'd once loved, who had betrayed her trust by having an affair, but dismissed it as unimportant. Lawrence was no longer truly a part of her life. Her life was here in Mulberry Lane with her friends, her children, and her granddaughter. Her thoughts turned to Tommy again. Peggy wasn't the only one in Mulberry Lane who thought Tommy Barton deserved a break. His mother struggled to bring up 2 growing lads since her husband had been sent to prison for robbing a corner post office somewhere up the West End. Tilly Barton tried her best, taking on the job of scrubbing out offices down the docks for 2 hours every morning, which meant her sons had to get themselves off to school, often without even a slice of bread and dripping in their stomachs. Peggy sometimes needed an extra pair of hands in the bar, but Tilly wasn't cut out for that sort of work, though she could help with washing the dishes if she accepted the offer. "Was that Tommy Barton I just saw leaving the yard?" Nellie, her friend and daily help, entered the kitchen as Peggy put a batch of lemon curd tarts into the oven. "They look good. Haven't seen any lemon curds for ages." "I was lucky to get this," Peggy said.